Lawyer Paul Kumi, Majana Pay.
The Joseph media about what moment to say.
Nyamiadum lawyer. Lawyer Bokode.
Yamiadum here.
Are we in any constitutional crisis as a constitutional lawyer?
I don't think so. Just that we are having some few hiccups, but that's not a crisis.
Who did it say, as we speak, what is happening between the speaker and the Supreme Court? A judge for a mono. Bet me a create or some doubt on and I cast slay on your constitution. Now maybe what is happening between the speaker and the judges at the Supreme Court? No, a cast slay on our constitution and
No, I think that there's one thing here as a people. When we see people expressing dissenting voices, therefore say there is something untoward which is even taking place. Some robots. So at every point in time, we can adjourn. I listened to your previous friend saying, speaker that we are in
interview. Yes.
There are lots of things that but no doesn't mean say I hate him or probably there is a confusion between many on the way you understand issues. And maybe I miss my back the way I understand that. But it doesn't mean I hate him. I should be decorous in the way I comment on my views, so that I don't subject him to any public ridicule. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Ale.
It's, when there are these differences, regarding how the various arms of government, almost issues are there, I believe that does not mean that there is any constitutional crisis. For instance, and young Speaker Kasano, he makes specific reference to, for instance, sexuality, gay rights, LGBT for homophilia.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, it is an obvious thing. If you are a lawyer and you want to be non-partisan, you want to be very objective, you want the constitutionality to reign supreme. What is happening before the Supreme Court? It's difficult to understand, because the only thing that the Supreme Court we are commenting on, and now a declaration in respect of a law. So how come that a bill which has not become a law will be the one some than the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court is so it is a clear-cut case where the Supreme Court should have just told those people, gentlemen, gentle ladies, no issue, you need jurisdiction to handle it. So like dismiss it, simply that. But you are just idea we have to hold for all these times. You see, we may filing, now we may say. You see, and one thing we should not forget, and they say when we are dealing with the Supreme Court, we should be very, very, very careful. Because the Supreme Court sets legal precedents. If it's a mistake, it may be actually until the Supreme Court on its own changes it. So if there is any particular thing going on in Parliament, Parliament, the various procedures, now obviously there be a maintenance he rages to the Supreme Court. Can you imagine if, for instance, government is going in for a loan? Now obey this loan issue, the Supreme Court. I want you to strike down, attempt by government to even contract the loan. No, that's Supreme Court. So you have to. Now it delays even in determining whether or not that particular issue brought before it, merits even any consideration. Can you imagine how it will affect our development? So for me, I think that we should not unnecessarily make it like a NDC for any MPP for some. We are dealing with a very, very sensitive area of the organ of government. It say Supreme Court, and to me, I'm yet bold enough. I exercise the required objectivity and candor in dealing with the law, we as a people, we are in trouble. For instance, again, Young Ragmagmi was saying that there must be consistency. You are complaining, and I heard that one. So I will be honest with you. I said to myself, hey, so since when did the Supreme Court become so sensitive to people not being represented? I think a question issue by
yes.
Wasn't that the Supreme Court who said he should not be stepping friends in Parliament?
Yeah.
Were those people also not to be represented? The SAL issue, it has been in and out of the court. So for the whole term of Parliament, they are not represented. And this is where. So those are the issues that are.
But what does the law say in terms of Obi seat now you declare vacant? Is it the High Court that can declare a seat vacant, or it lies in the mouth of a speaker?
What happens is that the Constitution is clear in respect of some specific happening. As a happening, the person automatically is to lose the seat. And so when you read Article 97, 1G and 1H, it is clear. For instance, over Article 97, 1H, it says, if you entered Parliament as an independent member of Parliament, once you join a political party, you lose your seat. There is nothing futuristic. If anyone say, oh, no, very clear. There's no ambiguity over there. Right? If you know, say, happen. Not Speaker of Parliament at the council. What this is what the Constitution says. So I am applying it the way it is. So I am announcing, say, because this person has done A, B, or C, this is what I think should follow. If that person is not happy with it, he is expected to go to the High Court, not the Supreme Court. He is expected to go to the High Court.
You are saying, sir, High Court will not just step in and declare a seat vacant unless say Obi at the court.
Precisely, the High Court on his own doesn't just do anything. Baby, it is when you send your matter to the court to know someone dealing with. So you realize that it is they are parliamentarians, the same parliamentarians now, almost practically parliament, all the respect and honor. No, most times, so if they don't go there themselves, they get proxies to go and do those things for them. If you know, now that those 4 seats have been declared vacant, if those persons are affected are not happy with it, their forum to seek redress at the High Court.
Are you then saying, say, Supreme Court erred in its judgment to suspend that declaration?
If I will be candid with you, I think that the Supreme Court has overstepped its jurisdiction in respect of this particular issue. Because one, what Afenyo Martin sent to the Supreme Court was in respect of interpretation of Article 97, 1G and H. At that time, right? But it was more like he was anticipating that something was going to happen. If you know the America at the core, Supreme Court or not. But the Supreme Court does not deal with anticipatory matters. And yet,
but who Chief Justice in declaring or no judgment, no? Or today must say even the president, Ebia obey BB instrument B, they can step in. So it doesn't matter who. They deal with the Constitution. The Constitution is supreme. And some way, say High Court, say they can step in when it comes to Constitution.
Yes, so she's also talking about the Constitution. She's also making reference to the rule of law. The Supreme Court doesn't just step into anything because it's the Supreme Court. It is That matter doesn't start from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court handle that matter at a certain level. So the Supreme Court, before it comes or it gets involved in a particular matter, not the jurisdiction, not the trigger. I just say we be like I said, start you with the Supreme Court there. So where, for instance, there is a bill before Parliament, I go through the various processes in Parliament. The Supreme Court cannot cannot step in. The only time Supreme Court will ever happen when they say Parliament, I hear the day, and now what come out? He says, this is what we Parliament have approved of. So it is for public consumption. Then somebody from the public will go to the Supreme Court and say, Parliament, I can't say, yes, your constitution in one, and then the baby, and it, Supreme Court, Faton change. Now, any prayer, let me give an example. For instance, if you have some programs, yes, they are cooking competition. Cooking competition is the only time assessment of the cooking, when the food is finished, presented for evaluation. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Of course.
But those people know on tasting food, during the time when they don't go and taste it. Do they do so?
There be me some final question. Na yen fancy me nibre Mr. My final question. If you your lawyer nima speaker, would you say because you believe what Supreme Court did, it is not in their place, he should set it aside?
Hello.
Me pacho question me some review.
Yes. I didn't get the import. Are you saying, sir?
So I'm asking, sir,
since
you don't agree with the processes and how asemiyako about when a Supreme Court and no speaker ne lawyer for title sorry akọ court ya gba asa egu obeka kire ne say we lawyer no betu no for say ya gba egu de enso ma fa nya adwuma.
I wouldn't do that. That one will be for me to be promoting impunity. I will be promoting confusion and all that goes with it. And that is the reason for which I was saying, say, very careful. We don't allow the Supreme Court to set precedent.
Right.
Because once the precedent is set, it will go on. He was very careful. He didn't want to get into the mainstream of saying whether he will allow it or he will not allow it. I say no, and he say no, NDC for no. I can't say
they are still the majority.
They are still in the majority. Now, when you look at the friend saying the Constitution, it is clear in respect of Articles 115 through to 117 about proceedings and other things in Parliament, which should not be subjected to any court direction or court interference. So, the kind of immunity NDC for in Parliament. So they are going to put up a certain behavior in Parliament, which they think under the Constitution, they are immune from any court prosecution or any court interference. So those are where we can have what one would then say a constitutional crisis, because the members of Parliament will be using one aspect of the Constitution to assert our rights. Why in the main, and the Supreme Court a certain order, that order ought to be complied with.
Medase.
So if we are going to have candor and consistency, it will help all of us.
Medase pa, Damisha and lawyer Paul Kumi and our tenant Kano.
Onua 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM. Yeah, Junior.